Hi world, so this is Anna right here, and I am finally going to try to hold myself accountable in the year 2021 by reading 21 books. I don't actually own a lot of books, but I have a lot of books that I keep purchasing, and I keep telling myself that I'm going to get to it, and I am just not getting to it. So world, please hold me accountable. My goal for this year is to read 21 books. And you're like, that's so little. But you know what? I am the slowest reader that I know. Like, it literally could take me 3 months to read a book, because I would read and I would stop and I would read and I would stop, and eventually next thing I know, it's been like 3 months, and by the time I finish a book, I don't know what the beginning of the book is about anymore. And that is a big struggle that I am going through. So I set my goal for 21 books because we are in year 2021 and I gotta at least get that 21 books in. I believe 21 books is doable and potentially achievable. I want to start off really easy. If I achieve my 21 books of this year, nothing interesting is really going to happen. But if I achieve all of my books, I think something really interesting is finally going to take place, and I'm just super excited. Cross my fingers, I finish all my books before I buy another book, or I am forever going to be stuck in this loop. And this is technically the second book that I'm starting with, because I finished the one right before this, although it was Season of Storm, and I don't know why I did that to myself. I started that in like 2020, like maybe after like I watched The Witcher, and it took me so long. I was literally halfway through the book for the longest time, and then I finally just recently this past couple of days picked up the second latter of the half and finished it. And so really exciting to be continuing the season. I actually this is probably the worst thing you could do as you're trying to finish reading a book, but as a present to myself and finishing my book, I'm gonna go get more books. So that just adds to my list of books that I need to read. This is actually going to be my second book, Sword of Destiny in the... What is this? Oh yeah, I like to call it The Witchers, but it's the Tales of the Witchers series by... This is how you know that I am not good at reading, because I never remember the author's name, and I really hope that changes in the future as I get better at reading. This author is, oh yeah, I know, Andrea Sapolsky. Am I saying that correct? So, well, I'll show you my books. Well, I'm gonna start off by, fixing up my Goodread to reflect all of the books that I own, the books that I'm currently reading, and the books that I want to read. There's quite a lot of books that I've been wanting to purchase, but can't be purchasing any more books if I'm not reading my books. I don't know how much book I own, but I probably count it and then let you all know. Yes. So we're gonna do that, and then it will help me keep track of how much book I actually read this year, because as I said, I take so long to read books. All my books come up a jumble. I don't know what year I read it. I don't know if I read it last year. I don't know if I read it the year prior, but I know I read it. And so it's finally time I organize my life and also reading my books. I don't really have a shelf yet, just because I don't have a lot of books and I don't have a lot of space in my room. I have a lot of birds that are taking up a lot of space instead. So my books are actually stored in my ottoman. Some are up there, as you can see. It's actually not that much. I think it's just books that I've always wanted to read as a little kid, and I never got the chance because, AR reading ruined it for everyone. No, not really. I mean, that too, but I actually really got into manga, I don't know, starting in like middle school, and then ever since then, I'm like, chapter books? Nah. I'll stick to my anime. But now that I'm a lot older, I much prefer to watch anime until the anime stop, and I'm like, dang, what's next? Gotta read a manga now. But since then, I've been trying to tackle all of my other childhood books, like for instance, Harry Potter. never read Harry Potter in my life before. Well, actually, that's a lie. I read like maybe like book 1 like maybe twice. I thought I'd never read it, but then when I read book 1, it all sounds really familiar, so I'm like, maybe I did read book 1. But I definitely know I did not read like the rest of the series. I probably watched like clips here and there, you know, from people who own the movie, and I've been to their place where they were watching it, but like honestly, I don't really know what Harry Potter is about. I'm trying to figure out what the hype is. Maybe I'll become one. Yeah, so you'll see what I own. Like, it's just really funny, all the stuff that I own. So we'll see. Okay, so I'm back from pulling out all my books and counting them, and I was a little bit scared when I was like, okay, that seems like a lot of books. But I counted it all, and it was about 103, 104. I already forgotten. I think it was like 103. Yes, it passed the 100 mark by like just a few. I was a little bit worried because I was like, okay, there is quite a bunch of series book in here. Like for instance, you saw there was like Harry Potter, there was Twilight, there was The Witcher, and I think the one that I'm most, oh, there's also Hunger Game. I think the one I'm most scared of is the Song of Ice and Fire, or also Game of Thrones. And that's because, I don't know if you know, but hold on, let me just pull it out. I decided to get these little versions. I kind of regret getting these little versions because when you open it, they look like little Bibles. And it didn't look thick, but the thickest book has over 1,000 pages, and so that's just a little scary if I think about it. As a beginner reader, that's like a little intimidating. When I take like 3 months to read 300 pages, like 1,000 pages just seems kind of impossible right now, but we're gonna eventually get there, right? 1,000 pages, gonna be nothing in the future. Let's pray that that's true. Oh no, look at this. I already have a little baby. Look at this little baby. Hey, 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 hey. Come on. You're already trying to eat my books. But anyways, as I try to stop him, I think I'm able to tackle my books, just because although there's about 100 books in there, I have read, I want to say, at least a good 20%. I don't know, I count them so that I can log them. Yeah, and then we'll see what happens. I'll update you after I log them. Okay, so I'm back from logging and everything. I was definitely wrong on my counting. After all the math, I actually have 106 books. I actually thought I read a lot, but it turns out I did not. I actually only read 19 books out of the 106 books. With that, I am currently reading 7. And so that makes it 19 plus 7. 26 books out of 106. Books that I've usually read consist of mostly poetry. So I think that's one of the things that really got me to potentially feel like, oh, I finished reading a book. And so I started reading a lot of poetry. Out of my currently reading list, I just left all the books that I've started and I've never finished, or that maybe I did and I just don't remember, so I just included it in that list. And then my want to read right now includes all of the Witcher series, and I think that's just because I'm trying like to really tackle down that series before I start doing anything else or like read other stuff. And then the rest of the books on my bookshelves includes all the other books that I have. I think as I finish reading The Witcher and decide what books I want to read next, I will move them up to my want to read list. Some stuff on my bookshelf includes like books that I know that I probably will never ever read, but maybe that might change because I am trying to read all of my books, right? We'll see. So I think to kickstart everything, I am potentially going to try to do a 24-hour readathon of The Witcher. And I think that would really give me a little base understanding of how much I actually could read if I am trying to read, because right now I'm just, you know, guessing that I read a book in 3 months, but I really don't know how long it takes me, like how much pages I could read in an hour. That would kind of give me a base average, but we'll see how far we get. Yeah, I'm excited, and we'll see you again after I failed my readathon. There's a big old mess behind me. You see that? We'll figure that out. Bye!